This wasn't just a spiritual attack. It was an invitation written in the dark, sealed by your light. A demon was sent to destroy you, but instead, it met its mirror. It expected fear. It found stillness. It came for war, and left carrying wonder. By the end of this message, you will understand why darkness couldn't devour you, and why something ancient in it recognized something eternal in you. Stay until the end, because what's about to be revealed may explain why your stillness shattered a force that had never been touched before. This is Chosen One's prophecy, where the hidden are revealed, where the marked are gathered, where the stories that make no earthly sense are finally given heavenly context. Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. But what if the weapon didn't just fail? What if it broke because it saw in you something it was never meant to understand? Stay, because the signs that are about to unfold may explain your entire life and why hell feared you even before you knew who you were. The mark of recognition. You were marked before you were born. Heaven wrote your name in fire long before this world gave you a face. What you thought was misfortune, the early attacks, the strange stares, the unprovoked hatred, were all signs. The darkness knew you before you knew yourself, and it sent its agents early because it feared what would happen if you ever remembered. Just like Moses, who was hunted as an infant before he could part the sea. Just like Jesus, who was targeted in the womb by a paranoid king, you were surrounded by warfare, not because you were weak, but because you were wired for deliverance. This isn't paranoia, it's prophecy. This isn't coincidence, it's confirmation. You weren't abandoned, you were anointed in secret, and hell has always known what heaven planned. That's why it tried to kill you in seed form. But the seed survived. What does it mean when even demons can recognize your potential? What happens when darkness studies your light? Because it's never seen anything like you before? You were hunted because you were holy. You were tested because you were trusted. And the moment that demon crossed your path, it wasn't just looking for a fight. It was reacting to a fragrance, the scent of someone who walks with God. The silence was a cloak. They didn't see you coming because they weren't supposed to. God hid you in plain sight. He cloaked you in rejection, masked you in delay, buried you in silence. Because what was forming inside of you needed to be insulated from exposure. Like Joseph in the pit, like David in the fields, like Esther in the palace before the crown. Your isolation was not punishment, it was protection. The silence wasn't absence. It was divine surveillance. Heaven was watching who touched you. Heaven was tracking how they handled you. Because what was wrapped in obscurity will soon walk in visibility. And every delay had a timestamp from God's own hand. If you're still breathing, you're still becoming. And the demon sent to stop you was sent too late. Breathe. Let the silence speak. Then ask yourself, what has God been hiding in you? The fire and the forge. You thought betrayal broke you. You thought the loss buried you. But in the unseen, you were being forged into something unshakable. God did not waste the pain. Every lie that shattered your heart became raw material for revelation. Like Job, who lost everything only to gain double. Like Peter, who denied Christ only to preach the gospel with fire. You weren't falling apart. You were falling into form. The fire didn't come to consume you. It came to seal you. You are no longer soft clay. You are tempered steel. And the ones who tried to melt you ended up revealing the shape God always intended you to carry. You didn't just survive it. You became the proof that it never had power. And now, they fear the very version of you they tried to prevent. Let that sink in. The storm couldn't stop the scroll. The demon was sent, but it didn't return the same. This was no ordinary attack. This wasn't random warfare or coincidence. A demon was assigned to you, and it had one goal: destroy your essence before you discovered it. But something happened it didn't expect. It encountered purity it couldn't manipulate. It encountered stillness it couldn't provoke. It encountered truth it couldn't distort. You didn't fight it, you disarmed it by existing. Its tools failed, its tricks fell flat. Because your light wasn't performative, it was rooted. What was meant to be a clean destruction became a mirror, and the demon saw itself. And, for the first time, it questioned its mission. This wasn't a love story. It was a collapse. Not of you, of the one sent to ruin you. You were not just chosen to withstand darkness. You were chosen to reveal its instability. And without casting a single stone, you shattered what hell had never seen cracked before. Its confidence. Darkness confronted. You need to understand this. You were not just attacked. You were studied. The reason the warfare intensified wasn't because you were weak. It's because you were getting closer. Hell doesn't chase the compromised. It obsesses over the becoming. Every spiritual ambush was a signpost. Every emotional sabotage was a signal. You were nearing revelation, and the enemy tried to interrupt the broadcast. But the signal went out anyway. And now, others are tuning in. The demons that once intimidated you now whisper your name in caution, because your endurance proved them wrong. Because your clarity pierced through confusion, and because you didn't bow. You stood, and the atmosphere changed. If this resonates, comment 404 below as a prophetic sign that you're still listening and still receiving. The darkness came close, but it never got in. Unshakable light, unwritten rules. There are rules to spiritual warfare that most people don't understand. One of them is this: light doesn't have to fight, it reveals. And when revelation shows up, pretenders tremble. Your presence revealed more than you'll ever know. The demon didn't flee because of your words. It unraveled because of your alignment. That is your real power. Not shouting, not performance, but essence. What you carry is not taught. It's transferred through obedience. And that's why you were targeted, because what's in you cannot be replicated. And that's also why your story cannot be silenced. Heaven's assignment begins with exposure. You didn't just go through all of this for survival. You went through it because something had to be revealed. The assignment wasn't only to endure, it was to expose what couldn't survive in your presence. Just like Jesus cast out spirits by simply being present, you walked into the room, and everything that was pretending started to tremble. Heaven is now commissioning you to walk in this awareness. No more shrinking, no more doubting, no more asking, "Why me?" You are the answer to someone else's silent question, and the same light that revealed the demon will activate destiny in others. So walk carefully, because your shadow preaches. The rise of the remnant. You are not the only one, but you are one of the first to recognize it. There is a remnant rising, not loud, not prideful, but rooted. People like you, carrying scrolls, not slogans, speaking from scars, not stages. You weren't meant to walk alone. You were meant to ignite others. Your encounter with the demon was not just your test. It was a signal to the others, the ones who have been hidden, the ones who've been silenced, the ones who are ready to remember. And now, they're listening. Echo activation. This wasn't just your battle, it was your becoming. And what was forged in this fire isn't just for your journey. It must echo into bloodlines, into timelines, into nations. You weren't saved to stay silent. You weren't spared to stay still. You were transformed so you could transfer fire. The demon knows your name. Now heaven wants to send you. So the only question that remains is this: will you echo? You weren't just protected. You were preserved to provoke transformation in the enemy's camp. The demon that came to kill you didn't fall in love with your face. It fell under the weight of your unalterable light. This is the mystery. God did not send you into battle to fight like them. He sent you in silence to expose what cannot stand in the presence of truth. And now, here you are, not just a survivor of war, but the evidence that a different kind of power reigns. Chosen one, you have passed through shadows and silence, through testing and trembling, and what remains is not weakness, it is undeniable clarity. You are not just chosen, you are commissioned. You are not just healed, you are dangerous to darkness. You are hidden, you are hunted. Now, you are being heard. You have been marked, you have been forged. And now, you are being sent. If this word confirmed something deep within you, comment 777 below. As a seal, as a sign, as your response to the call, speak in the comments. Tell us what broke you open, what called you forward, what made you remember. Subscribe to Chosen One's Prophecy, not just for more messages, but because you are part of something sacred. A remnant is rising, and your voice is part of the echo. You are not alone. You are the next echo.